Hey everybody, it's Kate Richburg, and I am not live. This is a pre-recorded broadcast. Right now, I'm somewhere in Tucson shopping the gem show, but I've pre-recorded this back at the home studio so you folks can finish that fantastic waterfall earring. We did part one a while back, and this is part two. So if you want to find the complete list of ingredients and a link to part one of the broadcast, you can visit our website at beadshop.com, collections waterfall. It's under tassel earring, or you can just type in waterfall, but it is there for you. You can watch part one. You can also jump over to our YouTube channel, find it that way. There's a bunch of places to watch part one, but that list on the website, that link will have the total list of everything I used in the project. I'm not going to go over that today. I'm just going to go over finishing. So as always, folks, I wanted to remind you all, whoops, let me get this off of here. And you now know that this is pre-recorded, right? So I'm going to take that off as well. You know that you can find us at beadshop.com, on Instagram at the Bead Table, on our Facebook page, and hit that like, subscribe, and notify yourself on our YouTube channel for all things beadshop.com. You've probably seen me earlier this week pop in from the Tucson gem shows. You can find all of those archived broadcasts also on our YouTube channel. So let's, without further ado, get going. Okay, so here's the piece. When last I saw you and last we were speaking about this project, we were working on the brick stitch portion, say that fast, of the piece here of the earring. And I went ahead and I finished the fringe. So I'm going to show you how I finished that fringe. We're going to talk about it there. I'm also going to talk about then how we come up and we do the closure. I haven't done the fringe on this side yet. I'm going to finish it a little bit later, but you can see this single one that's finished and ready to go. I know that people are watching from all over, and I know that Janice is here doing some moderating and stuff, so I'm sorry I can't react live to your questions today, but hopefully I will answer them as they come up. Okay, let me get pretty tight in on this earring right here, and I'm going to move this over out of the way and pull this one in. So you can see, remember that we did on our last broadcast, we did the brick stitch portion, which is the top portion here, and it came and kind of fanned out below this I Ching coin. And then I started to create the dangles here in the center. I went from the center and I worked out to the right, and then I crossed over and worked to the left. So let's take a look at that fringe. Let me grab my awl here so I've got a good pointer. My finger won't get in the way that way. I'm also going to show you real quickly sometime during this broadcast, I'm going to show you how I weave this thread in because I did have to add thread a couple of times to this piece. It's no big deal, but I don't want you to have to work with, what do I want to say, with such a long piece of thread, right? Sorry, I'm adjusting some of my settings here. Sorry about that. So I'll show you how to do it. It's not real difficult, okay? So here is the fringe. And as I said, we did that center. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 legs of the fringe. In the center, I've got that briolette. And then on either end, I'm using that cute little bezeled briolette. And I've got another one right here that I'm going to add to it. Okay. And you can see there's a photo on the project page, kind of an up close photo. So you can kind of see how I lined these up. Essentially, take a look at this top portion here. The top portion, you can see I've got 4 beads here in the center, and then I kind of go up. I take the length out here in these seed beads at the top. So then I taper down to 3, then 2, these 2 legs are the same, and then 1. And then this is a little bit shorter because it's got that briolette. Whatever you choose to do here in this fringe, you do you on this, folks. You know, it doesn't even have to be symmetrical, right? You can do whatever it is you like. I kind of like this symmetry that I've got going on here, and how it kind of fans up to the right and to the left. So that's what we've got going on with this one. So let me show you. I came in and I just wove down, came out of the seed bead, the 15, came down, wove the leg, came back up, came back down, wove here and here and here till I got to this last piece. When I put the briolette, this little bezeled briolette on, I went down and just put a few beads on. Then I put on 6 of the seed beads here to form that loop. 3 on, then the charm, 3 more, and then walked back up to the top. So let me show you how I'm going to do that on this side. So I've got my beads on already, right? And I've worked my way out, and you can see that my beads my thread is coming down this final size 13 or size 15 right there. And then I'm going to come down, I put my beads on. Now I'm just going to put on 3, 1, 2, 3 of the 15s like this. Then I'm going to put on a briolette like this. And then I'm going to put on 3 more of the 15s, 1, 2, and 3. So see what I've got here? It's right there on the needle. Now I'm just that's going to become kind of like a circle, right, to hold the briolette. So I'm just going to go right back through that tassel leg and up. And I'll hold that little briolette. Sorry, I'm off screen. Let me get back on screen. I'll hold it so it kind of falls right into place as I pull everything up. Now, the thing with this fringe, when you pull it up, you want to pull it up so it's tight, so it's visually tight. You don't have a lot of, you don't have a gap, but you also don't have any extra space or showing, or you don't make it too tight either so that your fringe is stiff, if that makes sense, okay? Also on the end here of these little guys right here, let me show you. I did a little picot right there. So I went down, I came down here, through that bead, 3 15s, and then back up that bead to create the picot at the end. So now what I'm going to do to finish this off, I'm going to weave this thread back in, and this is just how you would weave thread into your piece when I'm finishing it, right? When I've run out of thread. So I'm going to go through that 15. I'm using a size 13 needle here. I tried the 10 and I used the 10 a little bit up here, but I quickly realized that to go in and out of these 15s so often, I need that size 13 needle. I'm also using the AA Ceylon thread. It's a little bit thinner, so it does allow me to go back and forth because there's a lot of thread in this piece. So see, I've come up here. Now I'm just going to make a little meandering path. So I'm going to go down these 3 13s. There's no real right or wrong here. So I'm going to go through these. Essentially, I just want to pass my needle down my beads and cross them. Where's the tip of this needle coming out? Sorry, it's a little bit outside of my focal range, so I'm having a little bit of trouble getting it through there. There we go. See that? There it is. and I'll pull that through. If you have trouble, see how my fingers don't want to pull that needle? That's okay. Sometimes if your fingers are a little fatigued, you can gently use your plier. I've got my plier here. I'm going to grab it and pull, just gently, right? Pull that. And you want to be careful not to get a knot or anything. So just gently slide it through. And I'm going to turn one more corner. I'm going to go here, back up through these 3 beads right here. I'm just going to use my plier for this because I know it's going to be difficult for my fingers. Slide that up, and I could keep going, but I think this is fine. So I'm going to come in and under tension, be very careful, and clip that away. So I've got one earring that's complete, beautiful. I love it. If you don't wear earrings and you just do one, then you've got a pendant. You're ready to go. This would be beautiful with some of the if you got them in the trunk show, the flash sale that I did, right? You could use this. I'm just going to grab one because I've got them sitting right here and I can't help myself. We're probably sold out of them, but if you got them, right, wouldn't that be pretty? Just as a, you could bezel that and hang it from some Padre beads or whatever. It would be great as a necklace as well. Okay. So let me show you how I do the top. All right, this is ready to go. And the top of the earring, I'm going to use one of these really cool niobium ear wires, but I need something to attach it to. Now, if you had a hole punch, right, like a metal hole punch, I could just pop a hole in this coin if I wanted and use, kind of close to the top and put the end of this ear wire through it. I'm not a big fan of that, especially with these old coins. I want to add a little more seed bead work up at the top. So that's what I'm going to do. But you could pop a hole through there, right? However you want to attach it. But let me show you how I'm going to do it. So let me set this aside for the moment and let me bring this side in. So what I've done here is I started with just a round of beads. I put some beads on my thread. Okay. And let me count, but you would measure because the coins all have kind of a different size, but let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, probably about 16 beads on the thread, brought them through the center of the coin, brought them up and just tied an overhand knot right over left, then left over right to secure it. Okay. Then I put on another 16, went through, and then I went back through the loop so they were captured around. And see, here they are on the back. Here it is on the front. Now I'm going to do my third round. I could have only done a single, but these are size 15s, so I felt like I needed a little more coverage here. So let me show you. This is still the same thread, and I reeled off, I don't know, a couple feet, right? Maybe a little bit more than that, but not a whole lot. So I'm just going to randomly put on some of those 15s. Let me get some. I've got a little pile over here of my mixed beads. Let me get these. I'm picking up the wrong needle. Let me pick up the correct needle. And I'm going to put on about 16 beads here. And I want a few more of those white ones or cream colored ones. So whatever, I'm not even, these are also small and they kind of bunch together. So you can put a pattern in them for sure, but I'm not going to worry about a pattern. I think it'll look all right. Let's see how many I've got on my needle. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. That looks about right. Then I'm going to put them around and I'm going to check. Okay. So here these go. I'm going to pass my needle through the opening in that coin. And see, I've got a little bit of space there, just a little bit. So I need to put in about 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I bring my thread. You don't have to, but I'm going to bring it back through this line of beads. See that there? All the way back through the circle. This is my last one. I'm just going to do 3 here. You could do more if you wanted a little more thread or a little more, try that again, a few more beads to cover right here. Come on, go through. These 15s are small, but you know what? They're so worth it. I really, you could do this whole earring in 11s if you wanted, but the 15s have just a really great air about them. I love them. So here are my 3 lines, okay, of beads that are coming around. And what I'm going to do, oh, see, I need a little more. I need a few more beads on this one. I could put another needle on the end. Let me do that. Let me just see that there. Let me get a little closer so you can see what I'm seeing. See, I need just a few more to fill that spot in. I know it's on the back of the earring and, whatever, but if you're going to do it, folks, right, let's do it right. Let's see if I can get this world's tiniest eye. We want to needle the thread. There we go. And I bet you're asking, Kate, did you wax the thread? I did. This I waxed really lightly with some beeswax. Not a heavy coating of thread because I don't want to plug up the holes or the eye of the needle or anything. So here's, let's see, 4. And see there? There we go. That sits nicely back there. Can you see that? And it sits nicely up front. So now I want to bring these all together. First, whoops, lost the needle on there, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to bring it all together by tying that knot one more time. Right over left and down, just tighten it up. I don't want things to get too bunched up at the top, so I just want to make sure it looks, yeah, there we go, looks good. And then left over right and down, okay? Now I still have my long length and I've got a tail right here. I'll probably add just maybe a dot of glue on that knot and I'll weave this end back in a little bit and I'll cut it away later, okay? What I'm going to do though, because I need this thread because I'm actually going to come back and tie one more set of knots, okay? I'm going to put, to just kind of echo what I had going on down here, I'm going to get one of those Miyuki spacer beads and one of these little shadows. And now I'm going to put on, let's see what 6 of the seed beads of the size 15s look like, because I need to do a ring that's going to go through that ear wire. So there's my spacer, my little shadow. Sorry, I was migrating out of the frame there. 6 of the size 15s. And let's put on this ear wire. The ear wire is directional, remember? So we want to make sure that we're putting it on the correct way. Now, kind of like a picot, right? When we skip the 3 and go back up through a bead, I'm going to skip all of those 6 that I put on. And I'm going to go back through that little shadow and that spacer, that Miyuki spacer. I'm going to pull it tight here. There we go. And double check that my ear wire is facing the right way. I also want to make sure that this is tight enough. It's kind of hard for you to see. I'm sorry, I'm fumbling around a little bit. See here how the beads are going all the way around. So it's not, the ear wire isn't sitting on bare thread. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Now I'm going to come back in, and with that tail that I tied the knot previously, I'm going to tie it here. And I want it to be pretty tight, you know, just a nice firm knot. Oh, that other little piece of thread's getting in my way. I'm going to turn the whole thing over, and then we'll tie a square knot in the opposite direction. Like that. Whoops. I want to keep this needle on here, so it's kind of getting in my way, but let me tie this up, and then one final. Now I'm going to add a drop of GS Hypo, just a touch of glue, just right on that knot, so that it just adds a little layer of stability. And I'm going to let it sit there we go, just a little drop in there. But that's going to dry and prevent anything from coming unknotted, because this has a little bit of stress to it. Now, if you want, I could go back up before I had tightened. Before I tightened everything up, I could have gone back through this loop, or I could have just strung it, pulled my thread down and strung it double. But I think, and I'll do it off camera, I won't do it here for you right now, but I'll come in and I might stitch just back through, going back one more time and down, and then I'll weave this in, or I could tie another knot. See, so I'll come in from the bottom here. I might as well do it, might as well show you. That single thread, this thread is kind of thin, right? So you could also do this portion with Fireline if you wanted. We talked about mixing threads the other day. Fireline would be good for this. Let me zoom out just a little bit. I'm a little tight here. There we go. I think that's better. Fireline would definitely be stronger. This is kind of doubling up. I don't want it to double up now because I already have a strand in there. So I'm just going to take them 2 by 2. Maybe that one will go through single. And now I'll bring it back down through those 3 on this side, 1, 2, and 3, and then back down here. See that? There we go. Now, what I could do is I can just bring this needle through. I don't want to get anything tangled. There's a loop here. There we go. And I could go through this next one even up and down like this. It would hold these together. You know, whatever works for you. I think that works for me, so I'm going to do it. Except I'm down and around this fringe. My needle has, oh, I thought it came off. That was the second needle, so good. Good, because I want to go down right here. Okay. There we go. And I'll clip this. Now that's not going anywhere. I'm going to clip this under tension by pulling and clipping at the same time. Didn't quite get all of that little tail. There we go. Now I'll put the needle on this one. I'm really not going to do this now. And I could weave that back through. Okay. So this is attached and ready to go. I also noticed, and I'm going to maybe weave this in and tighten it up a little bit. See what I did here, how when I wrapped the what do I want to say? The loop around and tied this piece up at the top here. how it's kind of falling to the left. It's not centered. Well, let me see if I can fix that. You want to be aware of that, and that just has to do with when you're tying your knot over the top there, to make sure. I'm going to get this out of camera range, so sorry. It needs to be up by my eyes so I can see it. Gosh, this is tiny. When you tie that knot and bring it over the top of this piece, you want to center it before you do that, so you don't have anything hanging out to either the left or the right side, if that makes sense. So, but here, what I'll do is, it's a short piece of thread. I'm going to come underneath and see how I can kind of pull. Nope, you can't see that at all. Pull so it brings everything in kind of tight. Then maybe I'll go up here. Tighten it up so everything kind of, see, that brings everything kind of back to center. Now, I need to catch it around something, so maybe I'll just, I don't know. I don't like the idea of walking it back through those beads. So I'm going to tie the Emily knot that kind of goes around here. I'm going to take that off the needle. Goes around. I go through. There's always a way to fix, especially with seed beads, because you can just stitch things in place to make it work. There we go. That's going to be tightened that way. And I'll go around the other way. Go through. Sorry, I can't see it, and I'm taking it out of range. I'm so sorry. I know it's frustrating if I'm not in the camera eye here. I appreciate your patience with me. I just need one last knot. There we go. Ta-da! Just that little half hitch. Make sure I'm not catching anything else. And tighten. I could add a little bit more glue there if I wanted, which I probably will, but that brings that a little bit closer in. Okay? So then I'll do a second one right there for this one, and it'll be complete. That will be all she wrote, and the waterfall earrings will be ready to wear. I'm going to complete this other side, the fringe on the other side, but I think you folks will enjoy kind of getting creative with the fringe there. Whew. So remember, for a complete list of ingredients for these little beauties and the link to part 1, you can visit beadshop.com, go to earrings, and it's there under Waterfall. And do remember, folks, that this was a pre-recorded presentation. I will be back for you live on the 8th with a really fun show that I've got all set up for you. So sorry, today was a short broadcast, but I know you'll see me popping in from Tucson from the gem shows. As always, folks, don't forget to find us on all of our social at beadshop.com, at the Bead Table on Facebook, and of course, follow that YouTube channel. We are there with so many tutorials and stuff to help you with your beadwork. Thanks so much for joining me today. I can't wait to see what you do with these earrings, how you finish them. They really are you know me, I like a statement earring. So thanks so much, everybody, and I will see you all soon. We appreciate it. Talk to you all later. Bye-bye.